We're going to do a special video tonight. I have this CorComp 9900 disc controller. It is a double density disc controller, which is very special. The problem is it has the original ROMs in it, which are crappy. They take over the system at boot up, and they conflict with any other startup thing like a RAM disk or a final ROM cartridge or whatever. And because of that conflict, it makes it very difficult to use these items in consort. So I am going to change these EPROMs out for the ones from Millers Graphics. Craig Miller and Doug Warren designed a special upgrade for this particular card, which were kind of neat. The upgrade actually changes a lot of things in there. It's a new DSR and multiple other things, but the most important thing is that it fixes and gets rid of all the conflicts that it has. So we're going to pull this thing out of here, and we're going to do a replacement of the EPROMs, and we will try to get some of that documented here. Hang tight. All right, we've got the card out of the box now. Here it is. And we're going to take the case off of this thing, and we're going to take a look and see what we're working with here. Looks like somebody has peeled this back, unscrewed it, put it back where it was, and put tape over it. I'm going to take a look at that and see if we can't save that label. Be right back. Okay, we were able to save the label. We'll just have to tape it back down again. So now we're in a position to look at this board. And this is it. This is the board right here. So we're gonna get some close-ups here, and then take some pictures, and then we'll do the old swaparoo. Okay, here's our board. It's pretty simple. Very nicely constructed. And these two right here, these two chips, bank 1 and bank 2, those are the ones that we're going to be replacing today to do the Millers Graphics upgrade. And I have these here. These are the ones we'll be replacing them with, and they look pretty good, pretty well labeled. So let's see, let's look at the board. We got a yellow LED there. Some dip switches there. Not 100% sure what those are all about, but they're all up right now, so I'll have to do some research to figure out exactly what those do. The capacitor seems to be in pretty good shape. Everything looks pretty good. We're going to do this swap real quick, Then I'm going to do some research on these dip switches, and then we'll put it back together to see what we can do. I'll be right back. Okay, so these, if I can get the glare off of them. These are the replacement EPROMs that I got from Hummingbird EPROMs. That's bank 2, and this is bank 1. And these are going to replace these, bank 2 and bank 1. And we're going to use this little tiny screwdriver, little itty bitty guy, to carefully pry these up. Very, very gently pry these up. And once we get them out of the sockets, because it is socketed, we'll just slap these babies in there. And that should be enough to finish the modification. So I don't have a good way to hold this camera while I do this, so I'm not going to be able to do this pull on camera, but I will come back when it's empty, when I have pulled them out. Those were actually a little tougher than I thought they'd be to get out, but they both did come out very cleanly. All the legs are in place. I'm going to save these. I'm going to keep these for whatever reason. But bank 1 is here, and bank 2 is here. So I'm just going to take these guys, and I am going to put them in the appropriate places. That's bank 2. We'll do that one first. And I'll come back when they're in. Okay, so we have bank 2 in, and I did notice that the little reference mark up here was at the top of the card when we took those out, so that's where we're putting it back in. And it's in there nice and flush, but you'll notice that on the ones that haven't, before it goes in, the legs are bent outward a little bit, and I think that's because when they're programmed, that's how they have to sit in the programmer. So you have to sort of bend these in slightly just to get them to line up. You want to be super careful when you do this because you don't want to overbend one or break one. So I'll just be bending this a little bit here, and then when I get them straight up and down, I'll stick it in the socket, and we'll try it out. We're very, very close now, so hang tight. Okay, we have full installation. They are seated nice and cleanly, and the reference notches are up, which is good. I'm tempted to take this apart and replace this heat sink compound, but it seems to still have a little bit of viscosity to it, strangely enough. Seems like it's still at least mildly functional. Anyway, I think it'll be okay without. I don't leave this thing on for weeks at a time, so. But I've inspected everything other than it having this funky daughter board on there, which is not something I'm used to seeing. It looks like there was something not compatible about one of these chips up here, and they had to make a daughter board to make something that was software compatible, also pin compatible. So we're gonna plug it back in and see what's up. This little guy here kind of looks funny to me. Maybe it's okay. We're going to see what we can see. We'll plug it in, see if we get the Millers Graphics DOS thing readout on the top of the screen when we plug it in. So I just got to put the case back on, and then we'll be ready to rock. Okay, I have put it all back together except for my disk drive, and I'll leave that out until I'm sure it works. That's it sitting over there. When I turn this on, I'm supposed to see a Millers Graphics thing on the top of the screen, something Millers Graphics disk operating system, and if I installed these correctly, then that's what I should see. So here we go. Here's nothing. Looky there. That is exciting. Oh, that's amazing. So I'm going to put some drives in there and make sure I can format and do all the good stuff, but so far it looks like we have some success here, which is very exciting. Alright, I've plugged in extended basic 2.7, and we are going to try to run something off of disk 3. Looks like it's working. Come on. Oh, something's happening. Yes. Well guys, I have a working CorComp 9900 disk controller with Millers Graphics upgrade. And I'm really excited about it. Always wanted one of these hooked up. I'm enjoying my fish tank now. So I'm probably going to sign off here and just sit and watch my fish and the crabs and the seahorses run around for a little while. Thank you all so much for hanging out. It is super late at night, which is why I'm trying to keep my voice low so I don't wake anybody up. But it's been worth it. I have very much enjoyed this process. Thank you to Bob Carmody at Hummingbird EPROMs for my Millers Graphics upgrade kit. And thank you to Greg Lemke for the CorComp 9900 disc controller. So I'm going to sign off for now, and thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something, and if you have to do this modification again, it is super easy. It's just a matter of taking it apart, pulling some chips, putting some chips in, putting it all back together. Really simple. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I am not a hardware guy, so this was just a real simple thing. Anyway, thanks a lot. Have a good night.